All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling Social Security, specifically how to really maximize those benefits.
Yeah, a topic everyone wants to know more about.
There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to uncover some strategies I bet most people haven't even heard of. We'll even be looking at how people, even those with really good incomes, are missing out.
You're right. It's surprising how often that happens. People just don't realize what they could be getting.
Right. I'll admit I used to have some misconceptions myself about Social Security.
Oh, like what?
I always thought full retirement age was just 65, you know? Like everyone says that.
Yeah,
But it turns out there's a lot more nuance to it. So today, we're breaking it all down. No matter where you are in your career, you're going to get something out of this.
for sure. Yeah.
We're using this awesome article. It's called Here's the Maximum Possible 2025 Social Security Benefit at 62, 67, and 70. It really lays out how much your choices affect your money down the line.
Yeah, that's a perfect starting point because when you actually see those dollar amounts, at different ages you could claim, it really makes you think. It's not just knowing the rules, it's about how those rules change your entire financial future.
Right, right. Okay, so let's get to the basics. Everyone knows, kind of, Social Security is based on your best 35 years of earnings, right?
Hmm.
Adjusted for inflation. But there's a limit, isn't there, on how much of your income actually counts?
You got it. There's this thing called the maximum taxable earnings amount, and it changes each year. Now, some folks might think, okay, that doesn't apply to me. I don't make that much.
Right.
But here's the thing. Even if you're not hitting that max right now, you got to think about your future earning power. As you move up in your career, make more money, those later years could really make your benefit bigger if you're consistently earning above that limit.
So it's not just about where you are now, it's like planning for when you hit your peak earning down the road.
Exactly. You're thinking strategically. Now, once you've got those 35 high earning years, then we figure out your primary insurance amount. It's also called PIA. That's your full benefit. It's your full retirement age.
Okay, PIA, I got that. But wait, didn't I just say I thought full retirement age was 65? Is that wrong?
Well, it used to be more straightforward. Nowadays, it depends on when you were born.
Oh, really?
Yep, born in 1960 or later. Full retirement age is 67. Born before that, it's a bit earlier.
Yeah.
But the main point is that full retirement age is where you get 100% of what you've earned.
Okay, that makes sense. So then what happens if you claim Social Security before or after that full retirement age? Does that change your monthly check?
Absolutely, it does. And the difference can be huge. This article we're looking at, it shows potential 2025 benefits. Say you're going for the maximum and you claim at 62, the earliest you can, you'd get $2,831 per month. Not bad, huh? But if you wait until age 70, that jumps up to 5,108 citizens.
Whoa, wait, that's over $2,000 more each month. That's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, yearly that changes your whole retirement,
Right.
right? You could actually enjoy it, not just scrape by. So that's why even high earners got to pay attention to this.
You got it. Delaying, even though it seems far off, can mean a way more comfortable life later, especially for folks who've consistently earned a lot. But we got to be real too. Delaying isn't for everyone.
True. What about people who need that income sooner in retirement?
Great point. That's real for a lot of folks. There are times when claiming early makes sense, maybe health issues, or you don't expect to live as long, so you want those benefits sooner. Or you might need that money for something specific right away, like paying off your house. It's all about your own situation.
It's not just a simple always delay or always claim early thing. It's more nuanced. But if you are thinking about delaying, doesn't that mean you're using up your savings more in those first few retirement years?
That's a possible trade-off, yeah. But here's the key. Social Security benefits, they go up each year, guaranteed, to keep up with inflation. That's powerful, especially these days when things are so uncertain. Think of it like a really good bond, but better, because inflation can't hurt it. Hard to find that anywhere else.
Oh, I like that way of thinking about it. So even if you're using your savings a bit more at first, you're building up a bigger, safer income for later on.
You got it. And remember, we're talking about maximizing here.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, especially if they've been high earners, delaying gets them so much more each month, it makes up for dipping into savings early on.
Okay, this is making a lot more sense now. But, you know, reading that article, something that really stood out to me was how this all affects survivor benefits for spouses. Seems like something everyone should be thinking about, especially if they're married.
You're right to point that out. It's crucial for couples. Delaying doesn't just benefit you, it has a big impact on your spouse's security later, too.
Okay, yeah, tell me more about that.
So when one spouse passes away, Usually the surviving spouse gets some of their benefit. If you've maximized your own benefit by delaying, your spouse gets more too if something happens to you.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like extra protection for your family. And speaking of protection, you mentioned some like secret strategies that most people miss.
Ah, yes. Remember we teased a secret bonus at the beginning?
Uh,
That's all about the tax advantages you can get by delaying Social Security.
ooh, tax advantages. I like the sound of that.
Right. So picture this. You retire early, but you're smart, and you hold off on claiming those benefits.
Okay.
Those early years, before the checks start coming, that's a prime time to make some really good financial moves.
Ooh, like what kind of moves? Give me the inside scoop.
One that's especially powerful is called a Roth conversion.
Okay.
Basically, you move money from your regular retirement accounts like your 401k or traditional IRA over to a Roth IRA.
I've heard of Roth IRAs, but
Yeah.
remind me, what makes them so special?
Roth IRAs are great because the money grows tax-free and you don't owe taxes when you take it out in retirement. The catch is you got to pay taxes on the money you convert from that traditional account to the Roth.
Right, right. I remember that part. So, where does delaying Social Security fit in?
Think about it. In those early retirement years, before you're getting Social Security, you're probably in a lower tax bracket than when you were working.
Oh, because your income is lower. Yeah.
Exactly. So you do the Roth conversion while your income is lower, you pay taxes at a lower rate.
It's like getting a discount on your future taxes. And if you're doing this before Social Security starts, your taxable income stays lower. So even more savings now and later. That's pretty clever.
It's all about strategy. It's not just when you claim, it's how you manage everything during retirement.
This is way more complex than I realized. You probably need a financial expert to really do this right, huh?
It's definitely smart to talk to someone who specializes in retirement planning. They can look at your situation, your goals, and help you make the best choices. Everyone's different, after all.
Makes sense. One size doesn't fit all. So if someone's listening thinking, okay, I like this, but how do I even start? What's the first step?
First step, understand your own situation. When do you want to retire? How much money will you need? What other income will you have besides Social Security? Once you know that, you can start looking at the claiming strategies and figure out what works best for you.
So it's personalized planning, no easy answers, but you can make choices that make your retirement more secure.
Absolutely. And it's never too early to start thinking about this. Even if you're young, understanding this stuff helps you make smarter financial choices throughout your whole career.
Right. It's not just something you figure out at the last minute. It's a lifetime thing.
Right.
You know, it all goes back to that article we talked about with those 2025 benefit amounts. Seeing the difference between claiming at 62 and 70, that was really eye-opening.
It makes you realize what's at stake. It's not just the monthly payments, it's the whole picture, the strategies, the long-term impact on your money and your life.
Speaking of the big picture, you mentioned something about survivor benefits for spouses. Can we go back to that? I think our listeners would want to hear more.
You're right, that's a big one for couples. When one spouse passes away, the survivor usually gets some of their benefits. It's called a survivor benefit.
Right, like a safety net, so they still have some income. Important stuff. But how does delaying Social Security change those survivor benefits?
Well, how much the survivor gets depends on the benefit amount at the time of death. So if the person delayed their claim, their benefit would be higher, meaning their spouse would also get more.
So by waiting, you're not just helping yourself, you're potentially giving your spouse more security if something happens to you.
Exactly. It's a way to take care of your loved ones, even after you're gone. Really shows why couples need to think about this stuff together.
It's all connected, right? Like you said earlier, it's about building a strong foundation for your family. It's not just about you, it's about everyone you care about.
Exactly. And while we're talking about couples, there's another layer here that's worth exploring. When you've got two people, each with their own work history and potential benefits, it gets even more strategic.
Ooh, so it's not just each person figuring out their own thing. It's like working together as a couple to get the most out of Social Security.
You got it. And there are so many things to consider.
So we've covered so much today, like how Social Security is calculated and those strategies to maximize it. It's really been eye-opening. But before we wrap up, I got to hear more about what you just mentioned. What's this extra layer for couples when it comes to Social Security?
Well, when you have two people, each with their own work history, their own potential benefits, it opens up a whole new set of possibilities. It's like a chess game, figuring out the best moves for both of you over your lifetimes.
Ooh, I like that. A chess game for retirement. So it's not just each person maximizing on their own, it's about making decisions together to get the most out of it.
Exactly. And there's a lot to think about. For example, one strategy is the higher earner delays their claim while the lower earner starts taking theirs earlier. That way, there's some income coming in while that bigger benefit keeps growing.
Makes sense. Teamwork. But what if the lower earner wants to maximize theirs too? Do they like switch to their own bigger amount later?
That's where it gets even more interesting. See, once you hit your full retirement age, you can switch from a spousal benefit to your own.
Whoa, I didn't know that. It's like a hidden rule, a bonus level in the game. But I bet there are tons of things to consider when couples are making these choices.
For sure. Age differences, how long each person might live, health, overall financial goals. And, like we said before, talking to a financial advisor who knows this stuff is super helpful. They can create a plan just for you.
Right, because every couple is different. So it's about looking at your whole financial life together and making choices that match what you want for the future. This whole conversation just shows how important it is to plan ahead and get some good advice.
Couldn't agree more. And, as we finish up our deep dive here, I want to bring back that question from before. What would you do with an extra $22,924 every year in retirement? That's how much difference there could be between claiming at 62 versus 70.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? That extra money could be more travel, more time with family, less worry about money. It could be the difference between just getting by and really living your dream retirement.
Exactly. It all starts with knowing your options, making good choices, and being in control of your financial well-being. Social Security is more than just a program. It's a tool to help you build the retirement you want.
Well said. This has been so informative. Our listeners are going to be ready to take action after this. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us.
Happy to do it. It's all about empowering people to make the best choices for their future.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, the more you know about Social Security, the better off you'll be. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep planning for your future. We'll see you next time.